What is up, everybody? It has been a while. I apologize. Things have been kind of busy lately in my life, and I know that's not really an excuse. The YouTube kind of thing got away with me. I think a lot to do with Instagram, which has happened to a lot of guys, which is kind of sad, you know, because obviously I know that there is a big following on YouTube mainly, and that some of you guys don't have Instagram because it's a phone app, and maybe you don't have the phones that do that and things of that nature. So apologize for the delay in videos, but here we go. Got another knife for you. I got this back at the beginning of June. This is the Tuffknives or Tuffthumbz Jeff's Tanic, and this is he's kind of calling it, I think it's a good name too, or it's been labeled the ThunderTanic because it's got the Thunder Strike Kevlar. Before we get into this knife, and just to give you a quick positive before I give some just facts, you can take them as negative, but they're just the facts of this knife. This is an excellent knife, very well built. I got it and I was very, very impressed with how nice this piece is. From the action on it, the lockup, the feel of it, it's just an amazing piece of work and definitely feels like a custom handmade knife. I know that people say because he gets the things basically water jetted out, but they are very raw parts that he works with. Even the blade, this he made into a Bowie style with a little bit of that platinum tip. The inlay of the Thunder Strike Kevlar around, you know, the custom indented, kind of divoted, dimpled pivot there. The, you know, seamless transition between the titanium and the Thunder Strike Kevlar scale there. How nicely it sits, the back spacer. Oh, now I'm getting to the knife, so sorry. Anyways, I just want to start off, this is an awesome, awesome piece. You know, you can see how smooth it is. Here's what I am going to bring up. And I know this has been an issue for many guys with Jeff, and it's not to be negative, it's not to kind of create any kind of drama, although I'm sure fans on both sides might see it if you're watching this video. Not that I have that many followers anyways, but look, this knife, Jeff originally announced this knife, or showed the first proto, back on March 19th on YouTube. And I'll try and fan out so you guys can see over here. Right there, that's his video for it. That's actually the first ever proto, March 19th. So we will come back down here and zoom back out just for a little background on that. So he announced the knife then. He didn't take orders right off the bat. I think he wanted to simmer a little bit, and then he announced he was going to do 20 pieces, which per some other people that bought them or got in on them, dubbed the Golden 20. So originally they were for just his friends and close acquaintances, or maybe family or something like that. And then once he got past maybe the first 10 or 15 that he knew he was going to have set for those guys, that he got all those verified that they wanted to buy it and everything, and there was a special price, price that is lower than what all the tanks after that sold for. He kind of opened it up and said, anyone that else that wanted to get on that Golden 20, those last 5 or 6 spots, call him. Don't email him. Don't, I don't know, send a message through the IM, DM, PM, whatever the stuff is. Call him, and you have to pay on the spot. The same amount that all the other people paid, supposedly, and you would get in. So what did I do? I called him, and I'll play with the knife a little, guys, while I'm talking about this. I called him, got him on the phone. He answered right away. I said, look, I want to get in. Now, once again, guys, this was his first flipper knife. He had made a folder before, I think, you know, the Gent Tough or the Tough Gent or whatever that was, and then he'd done all the friction folders. But this was really his first foray into flipping knives, flipping folders, frame locks, that kind of stuff. He'd always been a knife pimper before. You guys know who he is, so I'm not going to go into too much background. But at the time, this was his first big launch piece. So I called him up. He said, you know, obviously, I didn't know him at the time. I knew him through the knife community, obviously, who he was. But I just thought the design looked so awesome, and I thought it would just be great to get in on that first set of knives. And he said, okay, Nick, I'll give you a spot. You got to pay me literally today. You have to pay me now, and in 3 to 4 months you should have your knife. Now this was March 19th. March 19th the video came out. I called him the beginning of April, the first week of April I believe it was, or the second week of April, when he kind of announced that he was going to take a few, that the last 5 spots of the golden 20 were left open. And then here is the proof on it. This is my PayPal statement. You can see the date, April 11th, 2013. Payment sent to, that's his, I believe at the time, maybe his fiance. She's his wife definitely now, but that's at the PayPal. It's not a secret. He tells you to send money there. It's not anything that's a secure or confidential thing. You can see I completed the transaction and it was billed, and you can see there that it went to the Tuffknives at Gmail email. I'm not showing the price or anything else, but that was the deal. So you can see April 11th, 2013, 3 to 4 months to get the knife. You guys can watch all the videos on Jeff's channels. There's nothing that he's hidden. He's pretty much, every time he finished one of the golden 20s, it was videotaped of some kind of nature. You can see that, you know, Jim Skelton got his, B. Dunn got his, Newton Knives got his, all those guys. When it got to about the 10th or 11th knife, everything kind of started slowing down. That was pretty much the end of the summer. So I ordered this in April. It's the end of the summer now. It's August. No word on my knife. Have I called about it? No. I knew it's going to take him longer than he thought. Anytime a knife maker, custom knife maker, gives you a date, unless it's Mikkel Williamson, who just, I don't know how he does it, gets stuff done on time, it's always going to be delayed. So I pretty much figured probably double. You know, really to be on the safest side, let's say it's going to take him 6 months, 7 months or so to get it done. So it gets to be November. And now I'm seeing between that period of August and November, he starts doing some of these auction knives and some side pieces. Or people that bought one knife already are now getting their second knife before people have gotten their golden 20 that paid him. You know, that paid him up front, believed that he was going to make the knives in the order they were supposed to be. And you can once again look at his videos. You'll see these pieces done either on the USN auction or some kind of special YouTube or Instagram auction, or someone getting a mini Tanic after they already had a regular Tanic. So at this point it's November. I haven't called him or checked or anything because I wanted to give him a space. So I call in November. I said, hey Jeff, you know, once again he answers the phone. You know, I have to give, he answers the phone almost all the time. If he doesn't, he'll pick up and just say, hey, something's going on, I'll give you a call back. Does he always call you back? Not really, but he kind of gives you the date, like, hey, give me a call back in a day or two. And he always answers and talks. Very polite. I was very polite to him the entire time with the knife. You know, as far as the knife process, very courteous, very patient. So I get a hold of him in November. He says, oh yeah, man, I want to get to your knife. I know I definitely owe you one. A lot of stuff going on, obviously. I'm not sure if his wedding was going on then or it was after that. He had been married, but he had another, you know, official ceremony kind of thing, big event, I believe. So he said, you know what, December should be ready by then. So okay, no problem. I'll give you a call the end of December. So I believe some stuff, he put some videos up during that time period, and it really didn't sound like he was in the best place that time period. Also, I actually met him. He was at the New York Custom Knife Show in November as well. After I had called him the beginning of that month, I stopped by, introduced myself, shook his hand. Really nice guy. I met his wife and met some of the other guys. I know I met Mike Gavko as well. Great time, you know, talked to them briefly, nothing too crazy, but just said, hey, you know, I just want to make sure everything's going all right. If you have any questions or you need to get a hold of me or reach me, feel free to reach out. So, okay, great. Yeah, I'm definitely working on your knife. I'll get it done. Okay, so December comes and goes, no knife. End of January, check in with him again. He says, you know what, it should be on my bench this week. I'll get it done. Once again, no rush. Kind of the whole time we've been going back and forth as far as what I want done to it, and he's kind of, you know, he kind of told these golden 20 guys that he'll do pretty much anything material-wise, basically, except for, let's say, you know, Timascus or you know, some kind of a mokume or anything to that nature. But, you know, basic, you know, carbon fiber, G10, different kinds of patterns, things of that nature were all included in the original purchase price. So I know some of that maybe was waning when he would ask me what I wanted done, and I kind of threw out, hey, well, do you have this in the shop? Oh, no, I don't. That would delay it. Okay, well, I don't want to delay it. What do you have in the shop? Oh, well, I have this. Okay, well, you know, if you have some of that, let's try some of that. Okay. January comes and goes. I'm sorry, this is 10 minutes already, guys, but January comes and goes. March comes and goes. February comes and goes. April comes and goes. Now it's a year. Give him a call. Get him on the phone. Just, Jeff, you know, it's been a year now since I bought these. Oh, no, it can't be a year. You know, I didn't start offering these to you guys to buy until after Blade. Now, you guys can go back in 2013 and check. Blade was the last week of May, first week of June. When did I just show you previously that I paid for this knife? Paid for it April 11th or April 13th on there. It was, you know, in the video. So obviously it was a year. I know it's tough with all the different knives you're making. Now once again, at this time, now he's done 2 runs of these for Blade HQ. Blade HQ got 5 or 10, and then they got another 15 from him. So I'm supposed to be the golden 20, supposed to be in the first group. And now he's made at least, I'd say, let's say the first 15 people got that golden, actual real golden 20. Then he made a couple of the auction pieces, a couple of the mini Tanics. Then he made these 2 runs for Blade HQ, so that's 15 plus another 5, let's say on the low side for Blade HQ, that's 20. 3, 4 auctions, that's 24. Another 15 for Blade HQ, that's 34, that's 39. So around 40. So we're way past me being in the golden 20 group. So it gets to be May. Now I'm calling him pretty much once every 2 to 3 weeks because he's giving me these time periods to follow up. He's like, I should be done this week or 2, and I'll just say at the end, okay, great, Jeff. I'm not going to bug you. I'm just going to call you when that time period's up just to once again get an estimate. Finally, last week in May, he calls me up. He's like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm getting your thing done. It's going to be all set. What do you want? And, you know, obviously this whole time we've been talking about material. So I said, Jeff, you know, I just want something that's just different from everyone else's. I know you make a different Tanic, and as you guys have seen, all the Tanics are kind of different. I said, what material do you have laying around the shop that you haven't really used on a Tanic yet? And he's kind of like, I don't know, I got some G10 and carbon fiber. I'm like, yeah, I know you've used those already. Like, it's fine. I said, hey, look, do you have any Thunderstrike Kevlar? And he goes, oh yeah, I got like a huge piece of it just lying around. I said, you know what, take it, just do maybe a bolster kind of thing, just so it's something that's a little bit, you know, different than anyone else's, and I'll take it. He gets it done. He ships it out. I get this the day before Blade starts. I think Blade started on a Thursday that first week in June. I got this on a Wednesday. So how long was that? Bought this first, second week of April. Purchased it. Sent him the money. Was down. Supposed to be in the golden 20. Supposed to be first 21. And I get it a year and 2 months later on something that was originally estimated at 3 to 4 months. That's the issue. I mean, that's why people were having problems. You know, if you outlaid the money and you were told a certain thing, and then through the whole process you're told, you know, oh, okay, just a little bit longer. Okay, just a little bit longer. What does that turn out to be? You know, here's the positives. The knife is awesome. The other positive is that even though this wasn't the first 20 as I was promised or told it would be, he obviously has been improving his work by doing more and more. So this piece that I got has now had all the refinements, you know, the refinement on the lock bar, the refinement on the pivot, using the different bearing system in here, the refinement on doing now more of the blade work that he's doing. So it really is a terrific knife. And I got an awesome deal by getting in as early as I did with that first early purchase price. However, I had to wait a very long time, much longer than expected, to actually get the knife and do a lot of follow-up on my end to make sure it was getting done. And I didn't get to have the golden 20 knife, even though I was one of the golden 20 people. There was a video he had, he took it down, but he actually showed the list of the people, and you could see the first 15 or 16 names cross off. I think it was my name, then Chosen 7x7, then a few other people after that. And I know Chosen got his knife, I think, around January or February, which I was very happy because I know Chosen has sent a ton of work to Jeff to do. And I was glad that, you know, he actually got his knife in under a year. But the knife itself is terrific. The backspacer work on here, the way that it differentiates itself, the over travel stop, really, really nice, and probably the hardest firing knife that I own. It's a super strong detent. I know some other people, I believe Jim, when he talked about his, talked about it and actually sent it back to Jeff to have him loosen how hard the detent is. Or the breakaway, but I really like it. If you do have your finger on the lock bar, it's going to be pretty hard to get out, but if you hold it right here, it's just a hard firing knife. And the comfortability of this thing in the hand, the way that he's done with this Bowie style knife, which was very nice of him to do. I asked if he could do that type on this blade, and it really is pretty awesome, both in the forward grip and the reverse grip, and it's just a nasty looking piece. I mean, great stone wash on the titanium, great stone wash on the blade here. His emblem, right on the top, I like that. It used to be here. So once again, that's another thing that obviously got changed before I got it, which I like. Another great improvement. The indent here, easy to disengage the lock bar. You can see how simple it is for my thumb to get in. The Thunderstrike Kevlar, these two nice screws here on the tops. This custom 3D pocket clip, super strong retention. Just an excellent, and then this was another thing, he did this flare out piece here, and then this is kind of a little, I believe, homage to Jeremy Wharton, and also with the platinum tip there too, but just a super cool piece. I love it. I just did want to get out what the process was, and I've been pretty patient, and this is not the first time I've ever had a delay, obviously, from a knife maker, but I did want to just express what the situation was, the facts. I showed you guys the stuff that I have on it, and I believe if anyone ever talks to Jeff about it, I was never rude, I was never angry, I never called him frustrated, I never called upset. It was just status update, checking in. You told me to call at this point, you thought you'd have it done, just seeing where you are. And I'm very happy to get this knife. And Jeff, thank you so much for taking my order. You didn't know me from Adam when I called up in that April for those last few spots. You allowed me to get in on this wonderful piece, and you did an excellent job. I know you'd been paid over, a year and 2 months ago, so you're doing work that you probably had obviously already used the money for all the other materials and items. And for anyone watching this video, anytime you pay for a knife from a knife maker, or even like a mid-tech company or something to that extent, you're not paying, your money's not going to your knife. Your money's going to all the knives that are going to be made before yours, or the materials, or the belts, or the everything else. So I understand that. It wasn't like, my money, and then you made 40 knives before mine that my money went to pay for it. Yeah, that's what your money goes to. You pay anyone else. The money is not going right exactly to your knife. It's going to the whole process. But this really is a spectacular piece. There's nothing that I can find really wrong with it at all. Maybe some people are like, oh, well, that line is a little off, or like the edge thing, but everything's well-rounded. It has the feel, like I said, of a custom knife. You know that this was handmade when you rub your hands across it, how the blade is. Everything is great. And the other thing I want to kind of stress too that I like that Jeff did is what he sends with the knife. So the knife came in this nice leather pouch. There's no logo or anything on it, but you know what? Thank you for sending me a nice little pouch that the knife's in, and then it comes with information on the knife, which sometimes some custom makers lack. They just send you the knife rolled up in a newspaper or something, But here's Jeff. He sends me, a bunch of stickers. Really cool. Thank you very much for these, Jeff. And then here, obviously, his card, his info. And then on the back, the knife info. Tuffknives, Tanic, Thunderstorm Kevlar, N690 blade steel, titanium frames, and then his signature, which I think goes a long way. I know this isn't like some official card. It's not like as far as a certificate, but you know what? This is Jeff's handwriting. It's his signature and the information verifying this knife too, which for me goes a long way, and I think for a number of knife collectors goes a long way. Really, all the positives about this knife. The one thing, and I think this probably has to do with the fact that Jeff was going to blade this year, and obviously this knife got to me the day before, so he probably finished it 2 or 3 days because he was probably driving down that day. He got it all done. It's all nice. The only drawback is that the sharpness is just not there all the way across the blade. He did bring it down to a nice, fine thinness right here from being such a thick blade, as you guys can see, but I don't think he really got the final edge. Right here is pretty good, but right here it's just not at the point, and I'll show you guys here. This isn't, you guys have seen me cut paper and do paper tests in my previous videos, and I'll pull the camera up a little bit, but you guys will get what I'm talking about here. And maybe it's a style of knife, maybe a Bowie knife, the Bowie style knife, this isn't supposed to be that sharp. I'm not an expert, but you'll see here. I'm going to look off camera. I'm going to look right at the paper so you guys can see that I'm trying to cut it. I mean, that's not paper cutting sharp right there, And like I said, I think it's just because he had pretty much finished everything up, wanted to get it out to me, and maybe just that last detail of getting the sharpest edge on there didn't happen. Here, I'll show you a few more. I mean, you can see how it catches and rips. I'll show you right here, going with the top part. It's a little bit better right there on that corner edge. I know this is the worst part of the paper to kind of cut, but and then just to give you an example, the camera's probably going to shut off in a second, but let me just pull something out real quick. Microtech DOC, obviously not as thick a blade, but decently thick. It's a little, you can see the difference. So just one thing to be aware of. Do I really want to send the knife back to Jeff just to put an edge on it? Probably not, because I don't know when I'll get it back after that, obviously with the everything that he has going on. Do I want to sharpen myself? Probably not. I'm probably just going to keep it how it is. Honestly, I'm probably going to hold on to this for a long time. It is a pretty rare piece, even with the number of tanics that he has done, since he's switching over to the Switch and that other Goliath thing that he was making too. It's just a nice piece to keep in the collection. So that's my story. That's the info. Any comments you have, please leave below, or thoughts. Try not to have anything negative. If you have a real legitimate question or you have an experience, please put it in the most factual and honest way possible. But patience paid off here. Courtesy, politeness, checking on updates, following up. I got the knife. It's an awesome piece. I really like it. I think that Jeff is doing the best that he can with everything that he has going on in his life, and being in that first foray of doing his first run of knives and just kind of learning everything, and we all kind of learn from experience too. So a lot of positives about this: getting the card, getting the the nice bag with it, some swag, and then obviously the work that's on here. So that's everything, and I'm trying to get some other videos done today, so hopefully I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.